It is 5 o'clock here on your Wednesday. Good morning to you. I'm Lauren Casey.
And I'm Meredith Barrick. Here's what's making headlines on this January 29. After months of speculation, a high school teacher and coach is behind bars for sexual misconduct. How the alleged victim's family is reacting to his arrest.
It is National School Choice Week across the country, and here in central Indiana, there's a special focus as well. The event's being held to help students and parents learn more about their education options.
And in case you haven't heard, tonight is a pretty big night at Bankers Life Fieldhouse. Pacer star Victor Oladipo making his big return to the court. We'll hear what he has to say about his homecoming. But first, we need to get a check of your Storm Team 6 forecast.
That's right, and tonight may be a good night to head to Bankers Life Fieldhouse because it's not the prettiest day outside, Todd.
Yeah, no, it's the same as the past 2 days, or really 3 days when you go back to Sunday across the area. So it'll be a great night to be in Bankers Life Fieldhouse, and you can even hit downtown for Devour Indy beforehand. The temperature outside right now sits at 32 degrees, right at the freezing mark, and that's key because once again this morning we have a little bit of moisture that's out here across the area, and as a result there could be a few slick spots, but I saw at least the Indy DPW had a nice amount of salt on the streets for you. 28 in Crawfordsville, 32 in Bloomington, 33 is the current temperature right now in Muncie, and we have the clouds in place. I know the satellite picture showing them trying to break apart here across parts of the area. They'll just quickly fill back in. That is not a clearing trend that is going to continue throughout the day today. And off to our west, we have a pretty big storm system that's in place. The good news is this is actually going to pinwheel and pass to our south. So while we do have the clouds, again, with the exception of a little bit of a spritz of a flurry and or some patchy drizzle throughout the day today, we are not expecting any significant precipitation to head our way. But with the clouds, just like the past few days, temperatures really don't move much at all throughout the day today, as we'll only be in the mid-30s for your afternoon highs. Lauren?
Todd, here is a look right now at traffic. Everything's traveling up to speed, as you can see. Over here on the west side, as you're heading on I-74 traveling eastbound from State Road 267 to 465, just a 7-minute drive, so everything's moving along just fine there. I-465 and Sam Jones Expressway. Let's take a live look at that spot right now from our INDOT traffic camera. You can see traffic is moving along just fine. No major issues to slow you down.
New overnight, a man is in critical condition after a car flipped in front of the Butler University Police Station. It happened near the intersection of Hampton Drive and Sunset Avenue just before 1 this morning. Police on scene say an elderly man did not see the intersection and went through. He hit a boulder and a stop sign before the car flipped upside down. Officers had to push the vehicle off the man's arm, which was trapped out of the sunroof. He was then taken to the hospital. No other injuries were reported.
New details this morning after police arrested a teacher and coach in the Northwest Hendricks County School District.
Tri-West High School's Tyler Bruce faces preliminary charges of child seduction and obstruction of justice. Call 6 Investigates has been following this situation for months now. Bruce is accused of sexual misconduct with a student. He'd been under investigation since May of 2019 and on paid administrative leave since July. The state has also started procedures to revoke his teaching license. The district's handling of the accusations, including the decision not to terminate Bruce, upset many parents and community members. The alleged victim's parents released a statement following the arrest saying, quote, "We are encouraged that law enforcement along with the Hendricks County Prosecutor's Office are taking the necessary steps to hold Mr. Bruce accountable for his actions. As parents of students that attend Northwest Hendricks County School, our #1 concern is the safety of all students. Unfortunately, these criminal charges and the current federal investigations show the school system has a long way to go. We are hopeful that this is a first step in the right direction." The school district declined to comment. You can read much more about this case on our website, theindychannel.com.
A person of interest in a Lebanon shooting has been arrested in Alabama. Police say 53-year-old Mark Wilburn was taken into custody just north of Birmingham in connection after shooting his son-in-law Monday night. 29-year-old Michael Maxwell was shot one time in the shoulder outside of his house in Lebanon. He's now recovering at an Indianapolis hospital. A warrant was issued for Wilburn's arrest yesterday and is being charged with battery by means of a deadly weapon. Arrangements are now being made to bring him back here to Indiana.
And Fishers police want to know if you recognize this bank robbery suspect. The man is accused of showing a gun and robbing the Regions Bank on 116th Street near Allisonville Road just before 3:30 Tuesday afternoon. They say he approached a teller with a gun gun and demanded money. The teller complied and the suspect got away. Investigators say he is 30 to 40 years old and was wearing a hat and a coat. If you recognize him, please get in touch with the Fishers Police Department.
It's 5:05. Marion County Prosecutor Ryan Mears doesn't want to charge people for marijuana possession of less than 1 ounce. But if a Senate bill passes this year, he may not have a choice. The bill would allow the Indiana Attorney General to appoint a special prosecutor if some decide not to prosecute crimes as a matter of policy. Those in favor say it keeps the prosecutors from going rogue, which those against say will take away their ability to make the best decision for their community. The bill passed a committee 6-3 and now heads to the full Senate.
We are in the middle of School Choice Week, a week that gives students and their parents the opportunity to learn about the different schooling options available to them.
That's right, and there are a ton of events held across the country every January to help parents choose the best option for their little ones. Our Kelsey Anderson is joining us live this morning with a closer look at what School Choice Week really is about. Kelsey, good morning.
Hey, good morning. Well, School Choice Week is exactly what it sounds like. It's where you get to choose your school. You get to get the info that you need to choose a school. And I'm here with Jennifer with Ed Choice. So tell me a little bit more about what School Choice Week actually is.
Sure, absolutely. Thanks, Kelsey. So School Choice Week is a national celebration of the ability of families to choose a school that works best for their kids. This week, there's more than 40,000 events nationwide. And here in Indiana, we are celebrating tonight at the Conrad with a screening of the movie Miss Virginia, which is all about a D.C. Mom who is a warrior for school choice who fought for her son. And that led to one of the biggest school choice programs and initiatives in the country.
Okay, and for me, I'm just, I went to the school that I lived in the district of, so, I guess my parents probably knew there was a choice, but I didn't know that they had a choice. I just thought, that's where I live, this is where I go.
And a lot of people practice school choice that way. I call it school choice the old-fashioned way. You buy a house in the district you want to attend, you send your kids there. But the reality is that for a lot of folks, that's not possible. And so there are all kinds of other ways to access schools, whether that's private school vouchers, tax credit scholarships, homeschooling, charter schools, and that has radically changed what school choice has meant in the last 20 years.
Okay, perfect. And there's, like she said, a ton of events happening throughout the rest of this week here in Indiana for School Choice. We've got those linked for you over on the RTV6 News app. For now, send it back to you guys in the studio.
All right, you want to sit here or do you want to leave?
Why am I moving in the middle of class? He legit stopped the class to try to move me. I've been back here on this PowerPoint.
Are you being disruptive in the class?
No, I'm not doing nothing. The whole damn class is here. It's cool. You know what? I'm going to leave.
He's been on our work the whole time.
Dozens of Ball State students walked out of their classes to stand in solidarity with the student who was involved in that confrontation with a professor last week. That professor called university police after Sultan Benson refused a request to change seats. Benson eventually walked out of the class. Ball State's president was among those attending that walkout. He has previously said the school's dean met with the professor and that he will be monitoring him moving forward. Some students say that's not enough, so they gathered in hopes of inspiring change.
So I felt like it was my duty to be here, even if it made me uncomfortable, because I didn't want to disrespect my teacher by leaving class, but I also didn't want to leave a student that something happened to, where someone overstepped their power, hanging in the wind.
Student groups are demanding that the tenured professor retire and go through sensitivity training. They are also calling for a new student-led committee to advocate for issues important to the student body.
A popular Indianapolis orchard is now on the market. Adrian Orchards has been family-owned since 1925 and sells everything from cider, apples, peaches, and assorted treats. The owners, George and Monica Adrian, say they're getting older and need to cut back. The store, 5 acres of orchard land and an additional 65 acres in Morgan County, where much of the produce is grown, will go on sale March 1st. The Adrians say since they don't have any family successors, they hope to find a buyer who wants to keep the tradition growing.
It is 5:09. Tonight is the night that Pacer fans have been waiting for, the return of Victor Oladipo. The former All-NBA team member has been out for a year after rupturing his quad tendon against the Chicago Bulls. He practiced with the team on Tuesday and says he is ready to get back in the game.
Nervousness, anxiety, what are you feeling right now 24 hours ahead of this?
I feel great. I don't expect to go out there and get 40. But my mentality is that I'm going to get 40, so that's not going to change.
Oladipo and the Pacers will face the Bulls at 7 p.m. at Bankers Life Fieldhouse. And tonight, Vic on 6 returns. Before the game, our exclusive content as Vic also reintroduces his Dunk Cancer program. We visit Little Red Door Cancer Agency, where young people are already receiving those benefits. That's coming up at 6 o'clock tonight, only here on RTV6. Right now, the time is 5:10 on our Wednesday morning. Let's check in with Todd.
Yeah, as you walk out the door this morning, you're walking out once again to lots of clouds and temperatures here today that are holding right around the freezing mark once again in many locations, and they're not going to move throughout the duration of your morning drive. So what you walk out to this morning is what you get throughout the first couple hours of your day. And there's also still that very damp feel. Yesterday, we kept getting a few areas of drizzle / flurries moving through, and there's a little bit of moisture out there still. So don't be shocked if you see a flurry or you have to throw your windshield wipers on just briefly, but that's probably in a pretty isolated area. And then off to our west, we have rain and snow. It's a pretty big storm system, but it's actually going to move to our south. So this will not impact us. That is the good news in the forecast for the day today. But unfortunately, no sunshine today. Once again, temperatures holding pretty steady in the mid-30s, about 38 in Columbus, 34 in Noblesville, as well as Kokomo, 35, the high temperature on the western side of the state in Rockville. We do finally have some brighter days ahead. Just got to be patient. We'll let you know when they arrive, coming up in your 7-day planning forecast in just a few minutes.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Federal investigators are learning more about the helicopter crash that killed Kobe Bryant and 8 others on board. The latest findings and why they say it could take months to find out what all happened.
And the Pentagon says more U.S. troops have suffered injuries from the Iranian missile strike in Iraq, why health experts say there still could be more to come.
And here's a live look right now at your commute up on the north side. Good morning to you. This is I-465 at Keystone Avenue, where traffic's starting to pick up just a little bit this morning. Everything's traveling smoothly. We'll be right back after this short break right here on Good Morning Indiana.
Days from 4:30 to 7.
The wreckage left from the helicopter crash that killed Kobe Bryant and 8 others Sunday is now being recovered. Officials say the remains of all 9 victims have been removed from the site. Federal investigators say the helicopter went down fast, and they are working to map its flight patterns. The NTSB plans to release a preliminary report within the next 10 days, but said it could be more than a year before we know the cause.
It is 5:15. The Pentagon says the number of military personnel injured by the Iranian missile attack has been raised to 50. That is 16 more than the amount released last week. Officials say they've all been diagnosed with traumatic brain injuries after the strikes on Iraqi bases this month. 15 service members in the new cases have been treated, and they've returned to duty in Iraq. Medical experts say that they are more likely to be diagnosed with brain injuries in the coming days because it often takes more time for those to show up.
House lawmakers are trying to make sure China does not meddle in the selection of the next Dalai Lama. They passed a rare bipartisan bill demanding that the future Tibetan Buddhist leaders be chosen by the Tibetans. If China tries to interfere, it could be hit with new U.S. sanctions. The bill also calls for the establishment of a U.S. consulate in Tibet. A Senate version of the bill has also been proposed and has not yet been voted on.
It is 5:16. 2 students in Ohio are now being tested for the coronavirus. They attend Miami University in the small city of Oxford. The school says one of the students showed up at health services with mild symptoms. He was traveling with another student before being sick, and both have been placed in isolation until those results come in. The U.S. currently has 5 confirmed cases of the coronavirus.
A magnitude 7.7 earthquake was felt from Miami to Jamaica Tuesday. The quake hit in the Caribbean Sea about 80 miles off the coast of Jamaica. Residents of the Grand Cayman Islands experienced dramatic swaying when the quake began. A small tsunami was also recorded off the islands, but the threat was quickly lifted. 400 miles away in Miami, many were evacuated after police say the earthquake shook up some high-rises downtown. There were no reports of injuries or casualties. Aftershocks are expected to continue for the coming days, and not good timing when so many people are descending upon Miami for the Super Bowl this weekend, Todd.
Yeah, absolutely. You know that. And then we're kind of getting now into spring break season, and it's been pretty active down there in the Caribbean. As we've reported numerous earthquakes outside here in central Indiana. We're just dealing with clouds. So you've heard me talk a lot about the cloud cover, overcast, mostly cloudy, partly sunny. So I figured I'd break break it down for you here. And Kevin actually came up with this graphic last night. Overcast is when the sky cover has 90% or more clouds in it. Mostly cloudy is about 60 to 90%. And then when you get into partly sunny, 10 to 50% if the sky is covered with clouds. So obviously today we're unfortunately in this overcast category once again, as we'll be dealing with no sunshine in the forecast for the day today. 32 degrees. That's the current temperature. The winds out of the east-northeast at 5 miles per hour. And all across central Indiana, temperatures are currently in the 30s, hovering just a couple degrees above or below the freezing mark for you. 31 in Martinsville, 30 in Tipton, 32 is the current temperature in Bloomington. So as we work our way throughout the day today, temperatures just don't move a whole lot throughout the morning hours. 33 degrees by the time we get to 11 a.m. We stay there for your noontime temperature. Then 34 degrees by the time we get to 2 p.m. And then we stay right around 34 degrees throughout much of the afternoon. So it's just one of those days, once again, where we only warm 4 to 5, 6 degrees from start to finish across the day. Now, the clouds are in place. See a few specks of white here. There's still some moisture outside. You definitely get that damp feel when you walk out the door. And so don't be shocked if you see a flurry and or a sprinkle or two. But this big storm system, which normally you would think is going to come straight towards central Indiana, this is actually going to bypass us and spin off down to the south. And eventually, it becomes a pretty big storm for the East Coast later in the week if your travel plans take you there. But here in central Indiana, you see the clouds firmly in place throughout the day on TrueCast. It's not picking up any drizzle, but I wouldn't rule that out throughout the course of the day today, simply based upon what we've seen. So the Pacers back in town. Welcome back, Vic, to the lineup after the injury. Taking on the Bulls here this evening. As you walk into Bankers Life Fieldhouse, maybe dinner before, temperatures in the low to mid 30s. As you walk out of Bankers Life Fieldhouse, a temperature right around 32 degrees. And then for the day tomorrow's still mostly cloudy, but I do think there will be the opportunity at least for the skies to brighten just a little bit. We're never going to get rid of the clouds, but with the thinning of the clouds, temperatures a little bit warmer as we climb closer to 40 degrees. And then as you look at your 7-day planning forecast, look at that warming trend heading our way next week. Mid-50s by Monday. Sunday, we get the sunshine back. Tuesday has the potential to turn into a pretty wet day. Lauren.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. Here is a look right now at your commute over on the west side, I-465 here in West 21st Street. You can see traffic is moving along smoothly, both northbound and southbound. No delays to slow you down. Let's take a look down here on the south side and plan out your drive heading up State Road 37, Fairview Road to I-465, a 7-minute commute. A reminder, we do have a little bit of construction near Fairview Road for drivers in Greenwood. That's an ongoing project. Over here on I-65 traveling northbound, starting off in Whiteland, heading up to I-70 at the North Split. It's an 18-minute commute, no delays. So let's take a look right now over on the east side, I-70 and Emerson Avenue. Traffic's moving along just fine, eastbound and westbound. No crashes, no delays here to slow you down.
Former NFL player Antonio Brown was back in court and is gaining a little more freedom. Brown faces 3 criminal charges, including burglary, after an altercation with a delivery man at his Florida home. He was back in court Tuesday, and his attorney asked for his ankle monitor to be removed so he could still work. The judge allowed the change and said Brown could travel in the lower 48 states as long as he checks in daily with his pretrial officers.
It's 5:21. McDonald's is now drawing new battle lines in the fast food chicken sandwich wars. The chain now adding the sandwiches to its breakfast menu. Starting Monday, you can get a new chicken McGriddle and McChicken biscuit sandwiches. Both menu items, the classic crispy fried chicken, will be between the maple griddle cakes or the buttered biscuit. McDonald's says the additions will only be available for a limited time. Hopefully no brawls over this chicken sandwich.
Yes, hopefully. Collectible Kansas City Chiefs rookie cards and signs used to lottery tickets. After the break, the story behind this superfan's man cave.
And online at edmartinacura.com.
Fans in Kansas City are pumped for this weekend's Super Bowl. The Chiefs will face the San Francisco 49ers on Sunday, and one KC superfan has his house decked out. This is Trevor Lane's man cave. He said his collection started about a decade ago when his mother-in-law gave him a box full of the team's merchandise. Lane has Chiefs memorabilia from bags and flags, from some non-traditional items like old pizza boxes.
You invest that much time and effort and feelings into anything, it's gonna obviously escalate into something like this, I guess.
He says the most valuable Chiefs memorabilia in this room is a Jamal Charles rookie card the running back signed during training camp in 2013. When he runs out of space, he says he's going to start putting items on the ceiling.
And his wife, God bless her, she's probably like, you can have this room and the rest of the house is mine. I guarantee you.
Yeah, I don't know if I would want to watch the Super Bowl with him.
No.
Only because he's going to just be so intense.
I'm guessing he's a little superstitious too, and
has a special chair, can't you know?
Right. Maybe hasn't washed the jersey all season, something like that.
I have a friend like that. When it comes to watching IU games, he just wants to be by himself. Just like goes in the basement. He's like, I don't want to be around anybody.
I'll say something nice because I'm a Boilermaker.
Yeah.
All right, Todd, let's get a look at that forecast.
It's not going to be a good one. More of the same in this forecast for the day today. It's not terrible, but it's just not great, since I think we all could use a little sunshine in our lives at this point. It's been a pretty gray stretch of weather, but that is not going to be today. Locked in with the clouds here this morning with temperatures that are going to be hovering right around 30 degrees. And then as we work our way into the afternoon hours, we only go up 5-6 degrees in most locations. 35 in Indy, about 38 today in Columbus with mostly cloudy skies. Lafayette right around 34 degrees. There is some sunshine in our extended forecast. We'll let you know when that arrives as we show it to you coming up in the next half hour. Time now is 5:27. Stay with us. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
Today at 10 on RTV6. This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
It is School Choice Week, and there are hundreds of events across the state to help you choose the best schooling option for your kids.
Our Kelsey Anderson is joining us live this morning, breaking down what you need to know. And an Indiana woman is sharing her story with RTV6 and hoping to change the state law.
Her push to make Hoosier drivers safer. It is your Wednesday morning here, and we are taking a look at our forecast. Another gloomy day. Meteorologist Todd Clausen has had a pretty easy few days, Lauren.
Yeah, I don't want to say anything, but Todd, you haven't done a whole lot. I'm just kidding.
At least I showed up, right? At least I showed up.
Yes,
yeah, what are they paying you to do here?
You know,
just re-racking the same thing.
Honestly, it's actually harder because there's nothing to talk about.
That's
when there's more
true.
stuff to talk about, it's a little easier to come up with a forecast. But yeah, and I wish we could get some sunshine in here. I haven't had to change a whole lot over the past few days as we work our way throughout the morning hours here. We're talking about temperatures that are going to be hovering right around 30 degrees. So it's chilly, still have that damp feel, and there's lots of clouds out there. And going forward in this forecast, as we go throughout the day, our temperatures aren't really going to warm a whole lot. We're looking at skies that are going to be cloudy from start to finish. There'll be a little bit of patchy drizzle or a few flurries, just like yesterday. They kind of come in some spurts, and then they basically just fade away. But there could be a slick spot or two this morning with temperatures below freezing. Then as we work our way throughout the remainder of the day, we only get to 34 degrees by the noon hour. After that, we only go up one more degree to a temperature right around 35 degrees. We do finally have some sunshine working its way into the forecast, and I think it has some temperatures you'll like in your 7-day planning forecast. We'll show you that coming up in just a few minutes, Lauren.
All right, Todd, thanks. We are keeping a close eye on your roads. Pretty quiet out there here at the North Split. Everything's traveling smoothly downtown at the North Split, so that is good news if you're heading into downtown early this morning. Let's take a look at our Traffic Now map. Mine will make you aware of a few construction issues we're monitoring here. Some closures. This is in the Franklin Township area, so this is part of your commute. Heads up. We do have Edgewood Avenue closed between 5 Points Road and South Franklin Road, as well as 5 Points Road closed between Stop 11 and East Shelbyville Road. This is for some sewer work that's going on in that area, so just avoid those spots and give yourself a few extra minutes to reroute. Let's take you over to the east side right now. I-70 and Emerson Avenue. Traffic is moving along up to speed.
They announced it to us, and then all of a sudden said it's no negotiation.
Indianapolis Public Schools bus drivers and their union are asking for a little respect and some more information.
Union leaders attended last night's school board meeting saying they were, quote, blindsided by the district's decision to switch to a new contractor. The change affects nearly 700 bus drivers, monitors, and supervisors. And the news comes just months after the district signed a new bargaining agreement with the union. Union Vice President Stephen Quick says that the notion that everyone will still have a job come July is far from accurate.
Numbers are not adding up. If we got almost 700 employees and they only offering 335 jobs, that's a challenge.
The union is looking forward to having a meeting with district leaders later this week. The IPS board will take a final vote on the transportation plan at its executive session on Thursday. We are in the middle of School Choice Week, a week that gives students and their parents the opportunity to learn about different schooling options available to them.
That's right, and there are tons of events held across the country every January to help parents choose the best option for their little ones. Our Kelsey Anderson is joining us live this morning with a closer look at what School Choice Week is all about. Kelsey, good morning.
Hey, good morning. So School Choice Week sounds pretty self-explanatory, but I'm here with Jennifer with Ed Choice. And so tell me, what are the choices here in Indiana for School Choice Week?
Sure. So we're really lucky. Obviously, this morning we're here at St. Richard's, which is a private school in Indianapolis. But we're really lucky in Indiana to have so many choices available to families. So private schools, public schools. But within that public school option, you've got magnet schools, you've got charter schools, you've got families who like to homeschool, and you've also got the ability for families to go from one public school district to another school district. So again, we are so lucky here in Indiana to have so many choices available to us.
Yeah, definitely. And this is something that's only been going on for about 9 years, is School Choice Week. So tell me a little bit about how this started.
Sure. So actually this is the 10th year, which is really exciting. We love those round numbers. And this got started as a celebration of families and choice back when there were actually fewer choices available. So we really wanted to lift up those families, make sure people understood that they do have a choice in K-12 education.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you so much for being here this morning. And there are thousands of events happening this week here in Indiana. We've got those listed for you over on the RTV6 News app. For now, send it back to you guys in the studio.
All right, Kelsey, thank you so much. It is 5:34. A person traveling through northern Indiana has been infected with the coronavirus. That's according to the Porter County Health Department in Valparaiso. Dr. Maria Stamp says her department and the CDC are waiting for test results of a person in question. That person has been placed in isolation and is currently under active medical supervision as a precaution. So far here, there have been 5 confirmed cases of the virus across our country, but U.S. health officials say the risk to Americans is very low, and there's no sign yet that any of the infected persons have spread the disease to those around them. Meanwhile, the World Health Organization announcing they are increasing the global risk assessment posed by the coronavirus from moderate to high. Health officials say there are now 4,428 confirmed cases and 106 deaths. Outside of China, there are 45 cases in 13 countries. The agency says while the risk of the virus spreading widely outside of China remains low, they are closely watching.
Here at 5:35 and covering the State House this morning, a woman whose husband was hit and killed by a distracted driver is sharing her story with RTV6, hoping to change state law.
My hope is that by bringing some attention through his death, that it helps other people.
Kelly Sire is raising awareness about the issue as the Indiana House prepares to vote on a bill that would make it illegal to hold and use a phone while driving. Kelly's husband, Brian, died in November of 2011 after a car hit him as he crossed the street. Kelly says an investigation found the driver was distracted using his phone moments before the crash.
No one is good at texting or driving or emailing and driving. Driving is a privilege, and that we need to be safe when we're doing it.
Under the bill, any cell phone or GPS activity would have to be done hands-free or with voice technology. The House is set to vote on the proposal today.
It is 5:36 as police continue their search for suspects wanted in connection here to this deadly armed robbery on the city's northeast side. We're learning more about the employee who was killed during this incident. Surveillance pictures from inside the Subway store near 75th and Shadeland show 3 people dressed in black with backpacks and face masks on. They say 35-year-old Ashok Kamar was shot and killed during the struggle with one of the suspects. Hans Pizarro, who knew Kamar, remembers him as a nice family man, and he's now calling on officers to step up patrols or add more security to keep something like this from ever happening again.
He's a really good guy, very nice, always happy, smile. Yeah, that's very sad for him, for his family. Right now it's terrible, no. The business getting down now, getting very down. I'm worried about that because it's terrible.
Well, tonight a vigil is planned at the Shadeland Station shopping center outside the subway where Kamar was killed. The community is invited to attend. As always, anyone with any information about the shooting or the suspects are asked to call Crime Stoppers. That number is 317-262-TIPS.
Metro police are also still searching for a car that was involved in a police chase yesterday afternoon. That chase spanned the city's northwest and northeast sides. IMPD says officers tried to pull over what they believe to be a silver Ford Fusion because the plates did not match the vehicle. That's when the suspect drove off and fired shots. Once those shots were fired, police say they stopped the chase near 32nd and MLK. Police are looking for a silver Ford Fusion with tinted windows and an Indiana In God We Trust license plate. That plate number is ATJ731. Call police with any information.
At 5:38, 3 Purdue alumni will soon be helping Air Force members improve critical communication skills needed to keep them safe while flying. The trio created a simulator called Plain English. It's an app-based aviation radio simulator. Pilots are guided through both simple and complicated interactions with air traffic control. Simulations include every phase of flying from the takeoff to the landing. The Air Force awarded the developers $1 million to help train DoD employees. The technology's simulator is already used in dozens of airports across the country, and the team recently launched a version of the technology for civilian pilots. Right now, we do want to get a check of your forecast. Todd Costa standing by.
And it's a cloudy forecast for you once again, but there's no real inclement weather as the kids head off to the bus stop. That is the good news. Just need to bundle up a little bit with temperatures this morning that are going to be sitting right around 30 degrees. There's a few flurries out there and maybe a little bit of patchy drizzle, but it's nothing that's going to hinder the buses or you getting to the bus stop. And as far as the ride home from school, still cloudy. The temperature sits right at around 35 degrees. So going forward in this forecast, we really need to lose the clouds, and obviously you need the clouds for precipitation. Tomorrow's still dry, but fairly cloudy. Friday, a little better chance of some sunshine. Saturday's the day in our extended future that will have the chance of a little bit of a wintry mix for part of the day. It's not the entire day. That is the good news. More on that extended forecast coming up in Maine weather in just a few minutes.
Todd, thank you. The impeachment trial of President Trump is moving into a new phase. Coming up, the details on the next steps and why the battle over witnesses may soon be over.
And tax season is underway, and you may be getting your biggest refund yet. But before you make plans with what to do with that money, hear what experts are suggesting you do. It's 5:40. We'll be right back.
Guaranteed at Jackson Hewitt.
Tragedy in Alabama following a boat dock fire. Officials say 8 people were killed when flames ripped through a Jackson County Park marina early Monday.
And this morning we're learning 4 children are among those killed. 35 boats were destroyed, most of them houseboats, serving as a primary residence. According to the coroner, the children killed were between ages 7 and 16. Some of the victims have been identified, but their names are not yet being released. Authorities are continuing their search for more possible victims, but say it could be months before the investigation ends. To Afghanistan now, where the bodies of 2 people killed in a plane crash have been recovered. The Taliban initially said it had shot down the plane Monday, but the Pentagon adamantly denies that claim. Officials say it was a mechanical issue that caused the aircraft to go down. Several factors delayed the recovery of the bodies, including weather conditions and security precautions. The crash site is in a Taliban stronghold south of Kabul. The Pentagon has not yet identified the 2 people killed in the crash. An investigation is still ongoing.
In Washington, the impeachment trial of President Trump is moving on to a new phase. Both sides have given their opening arguments, and the president's team wrapped up yesterday. The trial now moves into a question and answer stage. Senators will have 16 hours over the next 2 days to question each side. Both parties are strategizing how to use that time, and also the question of allowing witnesses still remains. Democrats saying it's important to hear from witnesses, in particular John Bolton, but Republicans say allowing one witness could lead to many more.
There is no substitute for a witness speaking under oath to the senators.
We've heard dozens of witnesses, hundreds and hundreds of pages of documents, and hundreds of hours of repetitive testimony. I don't know what more we could hear.
Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell reportedly told Republicans in a closed-door meeting on Tuesday that they did not have the votes to block additional witnesses from being called. That could prove to be a major win for Democrats. A vote on witnesses is planned for Friday.
Over in the House yesterday, lawmakers honored Kobe Bryant, his daughter Gigi, and the 7 others killed in Sunday's helicopter crash. Representative Maxine Waters, who represents portions of Los Angeles, gave a touching tribute to Kobe.
Celebrated as a king in Los Angeles, Kobe's death is deeply painful for our city and his millions of fans everywhere. For decades, he dazzled generations of fans and aspiring athletes, leaving a legacy as a prolific athlete, devoted husband, loving father, and philanthropist that will never be forgotten. On behalf of the California delegation, we lift up the names of Kobe Bryant, his beloved daughter Gianna, and all of the victims of this horrible tragedy in prayer and reverence, and send our deepest condolences to their loved ones now and forever.
Following the tribute, a moment of silence for the victims was held.
And it was an emotional night for the Lower Merion High School boys basketball team as they returned to the court for the first time since Kobe Bryant's death. Bryant's NBA career took off straight out of Lower Merion. Before tip-off, a 33-second moment of silence was held in honor of Bryant. That was the number he wore at the school. The team, still grieving, was determined to honor Bryant's legacy, and they did just that, pulling out a 48-44 win. Back here at home, we want to get you out the door with what you need to know in the forecast. Todd Clausen standing by.
Yeah, and as you walk out the door, it's more of the same, unfortunately, across the area. It still has that damp feel out there with the overcast sky. There's still some flurries and a little drizzle around. And temperatures are right around the freezing mark, depending on where you are. So it's not out of the question that there could be a slick spot or two. I noticed on my way into work, though, that the crews had put quite a bit of salt down on the roadways. So that is certainly good news going forward in this forecast as you start your commute, that they were out there overnight. And any salt should eliminate some slick spots since there won't be any additional precipitation. Overcast skies again today. That means more than 90% in the way of cloud cover over the sky. Eventually we'll get towards partly sunny here in the next few days, but we're going to have to be very, very patient for that to happen. 32 degrees. That is the current temperature. Winds are out of the east-northeast right now at 5 miles per hour. And temperatures, as I mentioned, around the freezing mark, a little bit below as you work your way into Tipton as well as Peru. A little bit above as you work your way into Connorsville, Bloomington to Bedford, right at 32 degrees. Throughout the day today, we'll have the clouds from start to finish. Very little warming will take place throughout the day today as your temperatures only climb up to right around 35 degrees to maybe 36 later on this afternoon. And then we'll hold pretty steady this evening as the clouds will still be in place. So you see a little bit of precipitation showing up on Storm Team 6 radar. You notice the clouds trying to break apart a little bit. Those will all fill back in, so you don't have to worry about any sunshine and grabbing the sunglasses. This storm system, though, off to our west, pretty impressive as you look at it with the snow and the rain, and it looks like it's going to be coming right at us. But watch what happens. This system actually weakens and it slides down to our south. So it's really a non-player for us in our forecast as far as any precipitation goes. It is close enough, though, to keep us in the cloud cover from start to finish throughout the day today. Fast forward to tomorrow. I don't think we ever get rid of the clouds or clear them out, but I do think that there will be a little better chance of the clouds thinning tomorrow, and the skies will be allowed to brighten just a little bit across parts of the area this evening. Temperatures will be hovering right around that freezing mark in case you're going to any restaurants for Devour Indy. And then for the day tomorrow, you wake to a temperature right around 30 degrees. By the noon hour, we're looking at a temperature of 33, and then a little bit of sunshine tomorrow afternoon with temperatures that will be in the mid-30s. Friday, we make the jump up to 41 degrees, 42 on Saturday with a little bit of a wintry mix possible in the morning hours. But then look at the temperatures behind that system. 50 with sunshine on Sunday, near 60 degrees on Tuesday. The trade-off, though, will be more rain heading our way. Lauren?
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Here's a look at your commute on this Wednesday morning. On the east side, traveling westbound on 70 from Post Road to I-65 at the North Split. A quick 10-minute commute, so no issues there. Take it down to Johnson County, I-65 here in at Main Street. That's the Greenwood exit. You can see traffic is moving along just fine, northbound and southbound. No crashes, no delays here to slow down your Wednesday commute.
Starbucks is closing shops and suspending services to thousands of its Chinese locations due to the spread of the novel coronavirus. As of Tuesday, the company had closed nearly half of its 4,000 stores in the country. Starbucks says it's continuing to monitor and modify the operating hours in light of the outbreak. It is still not clear what the extent of the impact of the novel coronavirus will be on businesses in and around China.
Tax season is underway and you might be anticipating a refund. In fact, 44% of taxpayers believe their refund will be the biggest paycheck they get all year. That's according to a Credit Karma survey. About half of those people plan to save their money. 25% say they'll use it to pay off debt, and then 10% say they'll splurge and buy something they've been wanting. If you get a big refund, experts say the best thing to do is to adjust your tax withholdings. The IRS says the average refund last year was about $2,700.
A hotel in Canada is offering a spicy alternative to traditional evening outings. Coming up, how you could win free hotel rooms for the next 18 years. We'll tell you more about that coming up.
Toyota, let's go places.
Police in Virginia have some new dogs hitting the streets with them, but they're not helping sniff out crime. The Canine for a Day program is looking to get shelter dogs out in the community so they can find their forever homes. Dogs get to walk through downtown Williamsburg, visit local businesses and City Hall. All of the dogs that were taken out last year have since been adopted. What a great idea.
Yeah. Well, a Canadian hotel is offering a unique Valentine's Day special. Instead of a night out at the opera or elegant dinner at a fine restaurant, Hotel Z is offering a nooner baby special. Couples can book a room for 4 hours for just $59. If the sweethearts welcome a new baby 9 months after their stay, they get a free Valentine's Day stay every year for the next 18 years. The hotel says they've offered the nooner special for 5 years, but this is the first time they've added that twist. No thoughts on that?
No.
All right. On that note, let's check in with Todd. Hey, Todd.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning, everybody. 32 degrees right now in Indianapolis, as well as in the Bloomington area, 33 in Muncie. So we're right around freezing. There's still some moisture out there. Just be a little cautious out on the roadways here this morning, as there could be an isolated slick spot or two. And you notice there are a few flurries still on Storm Team 6 radar. And it's just like yesterday. You'll have a little spurt of flurries, maybe a little bit of patchy drizzle, and then that is just about it. It's not going to really amount to anything at all. Otherwise, we're talking about just cloudy skies throughout the day today. A little cool wind out of the northeast, with our high temperature only getting up to right around 35 degrees.
Todd, thanks. Coming up in the next half hour, airlines used to offer perks for free, like checked bags, food, free drinks, but most of those are now long gone. Our John Matteries is taking a look at some companies that are still offering free perks in 2020, so you don't waste your money.
And we're taking a closer look at the changes IPS is making to its transportation department. Our Alyssa Donovan working for you this morning with more on how IPS bus drivers are being impacted and what's next. That's coming up here on Good Morning Indiana.